Before you clicked on this video, did you feel that something unusual was happening beneath the surface of your life? A strange feeling you couldn't explain, a sudden thought that appeared out of nowhere, an inner voice telling you that something important is unfolding behind the scenes. What if I told you that at this very moment your soulmate is facing one of the biggest challenges of their life, and somehow you are connected to it? This is not an ordinary challenge. It is not simply about circumstances, timing, or daily problems. It is a challenge that reaches deep into their heart, forcing them to confront emotions they can no longer ignore, truths they can no longer avoid, and decisions they can no longer postpone. Right now, they may be questioning everything they thought they understood about themselves. They may be struggling between fear and courage, between the safety of the familiar and the pull of something greater. And the most surprising part is that your presence may be playing a much bigger role in this transformation than either of you realize. The signs are already appearing. The change has already begun. The question is not whether this challenge exists. The real question is, what is this challenge trying to reveal, and why does it involve you? A major turning point is happening in your soulmate's life, and even if they have not spoken about it to anyone, the weight of this moment is becoming impossible for them to ignore. There are certain periods in life when everything appears ordinary on the surface, yet beneath that calm exterior, an invisible shift is taking place. These moments often arrive unexpectedly. They do not announce themselves with certainty or provide clear instructions. Instead, they emerge through feelings, realizations, and circumstances that gradually force a person to look at their life from a completely different perspective. This is the kind of experience your soulmate may be going through right now. For a long time, people can move through life following familiar patterns. They make decisions based on habit, comfort, or what they believe is expected of them. They become accustomed to certain routines, certain beliefs, and certain ways of seeing themselves. But eventually, there comes a moment when the e-soul begins to question whether the current path still reflects who they truly are. This questioning can feel uncomfortable because it challenges everything that once seemed stable. It creates a sense of tension between the life a person has been living and the life they secretly feel drawn toward. Your soulmate may be standing in that space between the old and the new. Part of them may want to remain where everything feels predictable and safe. Another part of them may feel a growing urge to move towards something more meaningful. Even if that direction is uncertain, this inner conflict is often one of the strongest signs that a major turning point has arrived. It is not simply about making a decision. It is about deciding which version of themselves they are willing to become. The challenge of a turning point is that it rarely provides immediate answers. Instead, it asks for patience, honesty, and self-reflection. Your soulmate may find themselves thinking about the same questions repeatedly. They may revisit old memories, examine past choices, and reconsider beliefs they once accepted without question. What once seemed clear may suddenly feel uncertain. What once seemed impossible may now appear within reach. These shifts can be both exciting and overwhelming because they signal that something important is changing within their inner world. During such periods, emotions often become more intense. Small events may carry deeper meaning than before. Certain conversations may linger in their mind for days. Unexpected feelings may emerge without warning. This happens because a turning point is not only about external circumstances, it is also about the transformation of consciousness. The soul begins to notice things that were previously ignored. It begins to recognize desires that were hidden beneath fear, doubt, or distraction. There may also be moments when your soulmate feels torn between logic and intuition. Logic tends to focus on what is practical, familiar, air, and measurable. Intuition speaks in a quieter voice. It points toward possibilities that cannot always be explained. At a major turning point, these two forces often come into conflict. One part of them seeks certainty, while another part senses that true growth requires stepping beyond what is known. This struggle can create confusion, but it is often a necessary part of personal evolution. What makes this moment especially significant is that turning points have the power to reshape a person's future. A single realization can alter the direction of years to come. A single decision can open doors that once seemed permanently closed. The person who emerges on the other side of such an experience is rarely the same as the person who entered it. They carry new wisdom, new understanding, and a deeper awareness of themselves. Your soulmate may not fully understand the significance of what they are experiencing yet. They may only feel that something within them is demanding change. Y may sense that certain chapters of their life are reaching their natural conclusion, while new possibilities begin to appear on the horizon. Although the path ahead may still seem uncertain, the movement itself has already begun. The old foundations are shifting, new insights are emerging, and their soul is gradually preparing them for a future that looks very different from the one they once imagined. You are connected to the decision your soulmate is facing in ways that may be deeper than either of you fully understand. Some people enter our lives briefly and leave without creating a lasting impact. Others become part of our inner world, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and choices long after a conversation has ended. When a connection reaches this level of significance, it naturally becomes linked to important decisions and life-changing moments. This appears to be the kind of situation your soulmate is experiencing. Now, there are times when a person believes they are making a decision about their future, their circumstances, or their personal goals. But beneath the surface, the real issue is connected to a relationship that has touched them deeply. The presence of another person can awaken desires, fears, hopes, and questions that were previously hidden. Once those emotions are awakened, they become impossible to completely ignore. Even if someone tries to focus on practical matters, the emotional dimension continues to influence their thinking in subtle but powerful ways. Your soulmate may find themselves repeatedly thinking about you while considering important choices. They may wonder how certain decisions could affect the connection they feel. They may question whether they are ready to move towards something deeper, whether they are prepared to be vulnerable, or whether they can trust the emotions that continue to grow within them. These questions are not always easy to answer because meaningful connections often challenge the protective walls people have built around themselves over the years. Many individuals spend a large portion of their lives creating emotional defenses. These defenses develop from past disappointments, fears of rejection, painful memories, or experiences that taught them to be cautious. Such barriers can provide a sense of security, but they can also prevent genuine emotional growth. When someone special enters their life, those defenses begin to weaken. Feelings emerge that cannot be controlled through logic alone. The heart starts asking for honesty, while fear continues to argue for caution. Your soulmate may be standing between these two forces. Part of them may feel drawn toward the possibilities connected to you. Another part may be worried about what could happen if they fully acknowledge those feelings. This creates a decision that is much larger than it appears on the surface. It is not simply about choosing a direction. It is about deciding whether to trust what they feel deep inside themselves. As they reflect on their situation, they may notice that your influence appears in unexpected ways. A memory may return without warning. A conversation may replay in their mind. Something they once overlooked may suddenly take on new meaning. These experiences often occur when the unconscious mind is attempting to bring important truths into awareness. The soul recognizes significance long before the conscious mind fully understands it. There may also be aspects of themselves that they are discovering because of this connection. Sometimes, another person becomes a mirror that reveals hidden qualities within us. Through you, Your soulmate may be recognizing strengths they never appreciated, emotions they never fully expressed, or dreams they never allowed themselves to pursue. This process can be both inspiring and unsettling because self-discovery often requires confronting parts of ourselves that have remained hidden for years. The decision they face may involve more than external circumstances. It may involve choosing between fear and courage, between avoidance and honesty, between remaining unchanged and embracing personal growth. These choices are rarely comfortable because growth always requires leaving something familiar behind. Even when the future offers greater fulfillment, the uncertainty that accompanies change can feel intimidating. Your soulmate may spend considerable time weighing possibilities, examining their feelings, and searching for clarity. They may analyze situations repeatedly, hoping to find certainty before taking action. Yet some decisions cannot be solved through analysis alone. They require a willingness to trust inner wisdom and emotional truth. This is often the most difficult part of any meaningful transformation because certainty rarely appears before the first step is taken. The connection you share has become part of an important crossroads in their life. Whether they fully express it or not, your presence has contributed to a process of reflection and awakening. Certain questions would not exist without this bond. Certain realizations might never have surfaced without the emotions attached to it. The deeper the connection, the greater its ability to influence the choices that shape a person's future. In moments like these, the soul begins to recognize that some decisions are not merely about circumstances, but about becoming the person one is meant to be. Your soulmate is currently experiencing a period of inner conflict and emotional growth, a process that often feels far more intense than any challenge taking place in the outside world. While external problems usually have visible solutions, inner struggles require a person to confront parts of themselves that have remained hidden for years. This is not always a comfortable experience. In fact, emotional growth often begins with confusion, uncertainty, and a feeling that something deep within is demanding attention. For a long time, people can avoid looking directly at their fears and unresolved emotions. They become skilled at distracting themselves through routines, responsibilities, and everyday concerns. Yet hidden emotions never truly disappear. They remain beneath the surface, influencing thoughts, reactions, and decisions in ways that are not always obvious. Eventually, life presents situations that force these emotions into awareness. When this happens, a person can no longer continue as they did before. Your soulmate may be going through such a moment right now. Feelings they once ignored may be becoming impossible to dismiss. Questions they previously avoided may now demand honest answers. This creates a powerful internal struggle because emotional truth often challenges the image a person has created of themselves. It asks them to look beyond appearances and recognize what is genuinely happening within their heart. One of the most difficult aspects of emotional growth is confronting fear. Fear has many forms. It may appear as fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, fear of vulnerability, or fear of losing control. These fears often develop as protective mechanisms based on past experiences. They convince a person that staying guarded is safer than opening themselves to uncertainty. However, growth requires moving beyond these protective barriers. It requires acknowledging fear without allowing it to determine every decision. Your soulmate may be realizing that certain emotional walls they built in the past are no longer serving them. What once felt like protection may now feel like limitation. They may notice patterns in their behavior that repeatedly prevent deeper connections or prevent them from expressing what they truly feel. Recognizing these patterns is an important step because awareness always comes before transformation. As this process unfolds, they may experience moments of emotional intensity that seem difficult to explain. Small events may trigger strong reactions, memories from the past. They may return unexpectedly. Certain thoughts may repeat themselves over and over. This happens because the unconscious mind is attempting to bring unresolved material into consciousness. It is inviting them to face emotions that were previously hidden or denied. The connection they feel with you may be playing a significant role in this process. Meaningful relationships often act as mirrors, reflecting aspects of ourselves that we do not normally see. Through this connection, your soulmate may be discovering both their strengths and their vulnerabilities. They may be recognizing how deeply they care, how much they value emotional closeness, or how strongly they fear losing something that matters to them. These realizations can be overwhelming because they require honesty at a level that cannot be avoided through logic alone. Emotional growth also involves letting go of outdated beliefs. Many people carry assumptions about themselves that were formed years earlier. They may believe that you are unworthy of love, incapable of trust, or destined to repeat old patterns. These beliefs often operate quietly in the background, shaping behavior without being questioned. During periods of transformation, those assumptions begin to break apart. The person starts examining whether these stories are actually true or merely inherited from past experiences. Your soulmate may be standing in the middle of this process, feeling both challenged and changed by what they are discovering. Part of them may wish to return to the comfort of familiar habits, while another part senses that real growth requires moving forward. This tension is natural because transformation always involves leaving behind an older version of oneself. The process is rarely smooth, but it is often necessary for deeper self-standing. As they continue confronting fears, examining emotions, and questioning old patterns, they are gradually becoming more aware of who they truly are beneath the masks and defenses they once relied upon. Every difficult realization contributes to a greater sense of authenticity. Every emotional challenge creates an opportunity for deeper wisdom. Every moment of honest self-reflection helps reveal the difference between what was learned through fear and what is felt through genuine truth. Through this journey, they are slowly uncovering parts of themselves that have been waiting for recognition, understanding, and acceptance. Signs and synchronicities are appearing in your soulmate's life in ways that may seem subtle at first, yet they carry a powerful influence on their inner world. These experiences often occur during periods of emotional awakening and personal transformation. They are not always dramatic events. More often, they emerge through unexpected coincidences, recurring thoughts, meaningful encounters, and moments that feel strangely connected despite having no obvious explanation. To the logical mind, these experiences may appear random. However, on a deeper psychological level, they often create the feeling that something important is trying to gain attention. Your soulmate may be noticing patterns that seem too consistent to ignore. Certain words, names, places, or themes may repeatedly appear in their daily life. They may think about a particular subject only to encounter it again moments later through a conversation, a message, or an unexpected event. While each occurrence may appear insignificant on its own, the repeated nature of these experiences can create a growing sense that there is meaning hidden beneath the surface. During important periods of life, the mind becomes more sensitive to symbols and emotional connections. Experiences that once would have been overlooked suddenly feel significant. This heightened awareness often develops because the unconscious mind is becoming more active. It begins communicating through impressions, emotions, dreams, and meaningful coincidences. These messages do not arrive as direct in trucks. Instead, they appear as gentle signals that encourage reflection and deeper understanding. Your soulmate may find themselves repeatedly reminded of you in unexpected ways. A song may trigger a memory. A phrase spoken by a stranger may reflect something they have been thinking about privately. An ordinary situation may suddenly bring your presence into their mind without any clear reason. These moments can feel surprising because they seem to emerge naturally without effort or intention. The more frequently they occur, the more difficult they become to dismiss. At first, your soulmate may attempt to explain these experiences through logic alone. They may tell themselves that it is simply coincidence or imagination. Yet when similar patterns continue appearing over time, a deeper question begins to emerge. Why does the same theme keep returning? Why do certain thoughts feel impossible to escape? Why does one particular connection continue resurfacing despite attempts to focus us elsewhere? These questions often mark the beginning of a deeper process of self-exploration. Meaningful coincidences become especially powerful when they occur during moments of uncertainty. Your soulmate may be searching for answers regarding their feelings, their future, or the direction they should take in life. During these periods, even small events can feel deeply symbolic. They may interpret unexpected encounters as reminders to pay attention to what their heart is trying to communicate. Whether these experiences originate from the unconscious mind, emotional awareness, or something beyond ordinary understanding, their psychological impact can be profound. Dreams may also become more vivid during this phase. The unconscious often expresses itself through symbolic imagery, creating stories and situations that reveal hidden emotions. Your soulmate may wake up with strong feelings they cannot easily explain. Certain dreams may remain in their memory for days, carrying an emotional weight that feels significant. These experiences can encourage them to reflect on feelings they have not fully acknowledged while awake. Another aspect of synchronicity involves timing. Events may begin unfolding in ways that seem strangely aligned. Conversations happen at unexpected moments. Opportunities appear precisely when they are needed. Information arrives just as questions arise. These experiences can create the impression that different pieces of life are connecting into a larger picture. While they may not provide immediate answers, they often encourage trust in the unfolding process of growth and discovery. Your soulmate may also notice that the more they resist certain emotions, the more frequently reminders seem to appear. This is often because unresolved feelings naturally seek expression. The unconscious mind continues presenting symbols and patterns until those emotions are acknowledged. What initially appears as coincidence may gradually reveal itself as a reflection of inner truths that have been waiting for recognition. As these signs and synchronicities continue appearing, they encourage your soulmate to look beyond surface-level explanations and explore the deeper meaning of their experiences. Each coincidence invites reflection. Each unexpected reminder draws attention toward emotions that deserve examination. Each recurring pattern gently points towards something that remains unfinished within their inner world. Through these moments, awareness expands, hidden feelings become more visible, and important realizations move closer to the center of consciousness. A choice must be made in your soulmate's life, and this choice carries more weight than they may initially realize. There are moments when life allows people to remain undecided for long periods of time. They can delay action, avoid difficult conversations, and postpone important decisions while convincing themselves that more time will eventually provide clarity. Yet certain situations reach a point where avoidance is no longer possible. The soul begins demanding honesty, and what was once hidden beneath uncertainty rises to the surface. This is the kind of crossroads your soulmate may be approaching. Every meaningful decision creates tension because it requires the person to leave one possibility behind in order to embrace another. Human beings naturally seek security and predictability. They often prefer familiar discomfort over unfamiliar opportunity because at least the familiar is known. However, growth rarely occurs within the boundaries of complete comfort. It emerges when a person is willing to confront uncertainty and move towards something that feels deeply meaningful. Your soulmate may be standing between two different directions. One direction may represent safety, routine, and the continuation of old patterns. The other may represent emotional truth, personal growth, and a future that requires greater courage. This creates an internal struggle because both paths offer something valuable. One offers protection from risk, while the other offers the possibility of deeper fulfillment. The difficulty of this choice is not simply about external circumstances. It is also about confronting emotions that have been difficult to fully acknowledge. Your soulmate may be asking themselves questions they cannot easily answer. They may wonder whether they are ready to trust their feelings, whether they can overcome fears rooted in past experiences, or whether they possess the courage to embrace what their heart has been quietly revealing. These questions often become stronger as the moment of decision approaches. Fear frequently plays a major role during such periods. Fear has a way of presenting countless reasons to remain where things feel safe. It highlights potential disappointments, possible mistakes, and imagined worst-case scenarios. At the same time, the heart continues pointing toward what feels genuine and meaningful. This creates a conflict between emotional truth and emotional protection. The longer this conflict continues, the more exhausting it can become. Your soulmate may find themselves repeatedly revisiting the same thoughts. They may analyze situations from every possible angle, searching for certainty before making a move. Yet some decisions cannot be solved through logic alone. No amount of analysis can completely remove uncertainty when emotions are involved. Eventually, a person reaches a point where they must decide whether to trust fear or trust the deeper wisdom emerging from within. This choice may also involve letting go of old beliefs about themselves. Perhaps they once believed that vulnerability was dangerous, that emotional openness would lead to disappointment, or that protecting themselves was more important than pursuing genuine connection. Such beliefs can feel convincing because they are often built upon real experiences from the past. Yet they can also become barriers that prevent future growth. Choosing a new path often means challenging these assumptions and recognizing that the future does not have to repeat the past. The connection with you may be influencing this process more than either of you fully understands. Meaningful relationships often bring hidden emotions into awareness and force people to examine parts of themselves they have long avoided. Because of this, the choice your soulmate faces is not merely about circumstances or timing. It is about deciding whether they are willing to embrace a more authentic version of themselves. It is about determining whether they will continue following familiar patterns or step toward the deeper truth that has been gradually revealing itself through reflection, emotion, and self-discovery. Transformation before union is one of the most important experiences a person can go through when a deep and meaningful connection is involved. Many people imagine that significant relationships happen simply because two individuals meet at the right time. However, there are moments when life seems to delay a connection, not because it is being denied, but because important growth still needs to take place before two people can truly understand one another on a deeper level. They are often required to understand themselves first. This process of inner transformation is what your soulmate may be experiencing now. Personal transformation rarely begins with comfort. It often starts when a person becomes aware that something within them needs to change.